Radharasudanidhi ki jai. Srila Prabodhananda Saraswati ki jai. Today is verse 48 of Sri Radharas Sudhanidhi, a great classic of Madhurya Bhav, Parakiya Madhurya Bhav Tattva, and we're discussing selected verses within the 272 verses which describe Manjari Bhav, and especially the sevas in the mood of a Manjari, which is revealed here by Prabodhananda Saraswati. Someone asked yesterday, I thought this book, Radharas Sudhanidhi, is all about Sakhi Bhav. And so it's not useful for us, we're Manjaris. And I said, no, actually, this book is very useful for everyone who's in a Manjari Upasaka, who's practicing Raganuga Bhakti with a desire of becoming Radharani's surrendered maidservant, Palyadasi Kinkari Manjari. Because, yes, the book is about Sakhi Bhav, and we're also Sakhis, and we want the Bhav of a Sakhi, Gopi Bhavashraya. We're taking shelter of that Gopi Bhav. Like the Shrutis millions of years ago, the Shrutis and personified Vedas, they became attracted to Krishna's Leela in Vrindavan. These are the greatest sages of the universe, the greatest rishis and munis and Atmara munis, the rishis, and they're called the Shrutis. Shruti, of course, is the original Vedic writings are called Shruti. Samaveda, Yajurveda, Rigveda, Atharva Veda, the Charaveda. So in one kalpa, Krishna displayed his Leela dancing with the gopis in the rasa dance. And these sages, the Shrutis personified as great rishis and sages, big long flowing beards and hair and jata, and great yogis of Vedic yogis, they say, this is very sweet, very madhura, very sweet. Krishna's Madhura Leela Venu Madhura Yamuna Madhura Madhuradi Pater Akilam Madhuram. Everything is so sweet about this Leela Purushottam Sham Sundar. And although they're men, they're in men's form, men, rishis, they became attracted. We want to be gopis. We want to be gopis. We want to be Braja gopis. We have a desire to dance in the rasa dance with Krishna, like Radharani and Lalita Vishaka and all the gopis. So then Krishna said, Bhavatu. This is described in Gopal Tapani Upanishad and Kramadipika and Padma Puran, many places, about how the Shrutis, of course, it's mentioned in the Tikas by Vishnu Chakravarti in the Ras Leela chapters, Rasa Panchadhyaya, 10th canto of Bhagavatam, chapters 29 through 33, which are the Pancha Pran. Pancha Pran, Pran means life force, energy, strength, existence, Pran. And there's 5 forms of Pran. You've heard of Pranayam, breathing. So Prana, there's Apan, Udan, Pran, Upan, I forget. There's 5 different types. Some are going up and some are going down, some are going this way, that. So the Bhagavatam, that these 5 chapters, 29, 30, 1, 2, 3, are the Pancha Pran of the entire Srimad Bhagavatam, which has 12 cantos, and I remember something about 315 chapters. So out of 315 adhyaya, or chapters, describing Bhagavat, or Bhagavan in his various forms as Vishnu and Nrsimha and Vaman, and all these different Leelas, and Mohini Murti, and finally Ramchandra, and all the different avatars, Matsya, and Varaha, they're all described there. And then we get to the Pancha Pran, which is the life of Bhagavan's Pancha Pran. Anyone's existence is based on their pran. If the pran is gone, you're gone. Absolutely, totally gone, finished. Hogya, Katam, Hari Hari Bol. So this is the so the Krishna Bhagavat, this is the Bhagavat Puran, Srimad Bhagavatam. So the Pran, the life of the entire Bhagavat, the life of Bhagavan, the life of the entire Bhagavat are these 5 chapters. Because in these 5 chapters, Shukadev Goswami and Vyasadeva proclaim, like a loud beating of a drum, the exalted position of the gopis' love, the gopis' bhav. So this type of gopi bhav, this type of madhurya prem, parakya bhav of the gopis, the extramarital lovers of Krishna and his Braj Leela, this mystified the mystics, this enchanted the rishis, the shrutis. So they aspired to become gopis, and so they were blessed. So for thousands and millions of years, they followed the path of Raganuga Bhakti. And while following the path of Raganuga Bhakti in the Gopi Anugata, they followed in the footsteps of the gopis of Braj, Braj Loka Anusarata, which is mentioned in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu in describing Raganuga Bhakti. Braja Loka Anusarata. Anukaran, Anusaran. Anukaran means imitating. Oh, my guru walks like this, so I walk like that. No, that's aparad, to imitate the guru's movements or postures or whatever. But to follow him when he walks on Prikrama, then you follow him on Prikrama and serve him and hear the Harikatha, or just be in his presence and try to appreciate and feel what he feels when he sees Giriraj, and what kind of hankering and what kind of deep attachment he has for Giri Govardhan. And that's emanating from his eyes and from his heart and form. So the surrendered Shishya, the Sad Shishya, will try to become one with his Guru and his bhav, his seva, his mood, his sadhya, his goal. He doesn't want to become one. Oh, Guru eats Karela, so I'll eat Karela every day. Maybe it doesn't agree with you. It agrees with him because of different prakruti or conditioning. It doesn't grow in Russia, but it grows in India, so your Indian-born guru may have a liking for that. So we don't imitate. Prabhupada had big black glasses when he first came to New York and gave his big black glasses when he gave his classes in New York. You can see in the early movies, big black plastic, like this. So all the devotees, although they may have thought about it, but it didn't run out to the nearest optician, eye doctor, and buy big black glasses with clear glass, not prescription because they're young men and ladies, come in and imagine if Prabhupada went to class and 30 people in front of him with big black glasses. It would be crazy. It would be the most crazy, humorous, funny thing. He'd say, "What is this?" And Prabhupada would say with all his philosophical astuteness and humor also, his eyes would become very big and you see the white of his eyes and you'd look and say, what is going on here? This is Anukaran. But you should do Anusharan. You should use, like me, I use my eyes and these glasses to read the Bhagavatam and to study the Bhagavatam. So you should follow me and use your eyes, glasses or not, and study the Srimad Bhagavatam and get up at 1 o'clock. You can't do it. But at any rate, whenever you do get up, then study the Bhagavatam and speak on it whenever you can. So this is the rishis they followed. So they were developing over so many thousands of years. They were performing tapasya, but really to become purify their hearts so they could receive the ray of bhav would descend from the ragatmikas and from the nityasiddha parikars. That gopi bhav, that madhurya prem would descend from their hearts and into the hearts of the purified sages, the shrutis, and then they would develop gopi bhav. So they heard about gopi bhav, they read about gopi bhav, which means Sakhi bhav. Gopi is a Sakhi, Manjari is a Sakhi. In that way they developed the sensitivities, the feelings, the outlook, the understanding Radharani's moods and the Sakis' moods. So then it becomes very easy to serve them, or to be. They actually became Sakis. They became Nayakas of Krishna, heroines, and danced in the Rasa dance. So the answer to the question whether reading this book, which many of the verses are showing Saki Bhav, and not specifically the mood of an Anuchari, or Kinkari, or maidservant, it's very helpful because every verse is full of Gopi Bhav, Saki Bhav, and full of Leela, and full of Radha and Krishna pastimes in relation to their Sakis in Vrindavan throughout the Astakali Leelas. And it's all very, very favorable. I was rather surprised when the person said, oh, this book is not for Manjari Bhav. But it's very much, specifically where it mentions Manjaris, and even the author, who is a Saki, Ashtasaki, one of the Parama Preshta Sakis, Changavidya Prabodhananda Saraswati, he's so much attracted and enamored and captivated by the Taratmika Bhav of Radharani's Manjaris for her, that he entered into their mood, and maybe even has a form of a Manjari. At least he entered into their mood and wrote about it, what they feel, what they hanker for, and what they specifically see, and what type of sevas they render. And those are the verses we're zeroing in on and focusing and concentrating on. But anyone who's following Rag Marg, aspiring to be Radharani's maidservant and Raganuga Bhakti, and they come under the shelter or guidance of a Shiksha Guru or their Diksha Guru, he will give this book and say, learn it, study it. It's very, very helpful. It's primary. Of course, the writings of our acharyas, our Sadgoswamis, Prabodhananda Saraswati is also our acharya, but Savavali by Raghunath Das Goswami is most favorable for deeply understanding the Prayojana Tattva and serving therein at one's mentally conceived, antas chinta deha, one's mentally conceived and desired spiritual body as a Manjari, which means a Nitya Saki. So where there's 5 types of Sakis, and the Manjaris are basically called Nitya Sakis. There's Saki and Pran Saki, Parama Preshta Saki, and then Nitya Sakis, and I think Priya Sakis. But they're all Sakis, they all have Saki Bhav. Everyone loves Radharani completely, everyone loves Krishna completely, all the 5 types of Sakis. Some are a little bit more inclined, and their ulas and their feelings of seva and love are a little more for Radharani, and some a little more for Krishna. But all the Sakis are completely surrendered to and dedicated and absorbed in serving Radha Krishna Yugal. From Lalita serving Radha and Krishna Yugal. Lalita brings all the time, makes arrangements. Lalita and Vishaka, they make all kinds of arrangements to bring Krishna to Radha, to bring the Manjaris to Radha, to help her serve Radha. And they themselves are dressing Radharani in the morning and decorating her. So although they also are Yuteshwaris, group leaders of Sakis, and they have their own Manjaris, each of them, Lalita Vishaka, and they're their own assistant Upasakis with them in their Juta or group. But nevertheless, Radharani is Vrindavaneshwari, and they're all maidservants of that great queen Radharani. They're Nayakas, and they also have their independent relationship. They have Shringar Vilas with Krishna, union with Krishna, the Kunjas. Lalita has her Kunja as Radhakund. Ananga Manjari has her Kunja at Radhakund. And Vishaka has her Kunja. And there they entertain Krishna. And they also they bring Radha and Krishna there, and they both enjoy there. And sometimes Vishaka with the Sakis. But everyone in Braj, as I mentioned in earlier classes, they're basically directly and indirectly, or let's say directly, knowingly or unknowingly, engaged in the service of bringing Radha and Krishna together. So this is the beauty of Vrindavan. So it's a very useful book and a very wonderful book. It's unlimited ocean. It says Nidhi. Radha Ras Sudha Nidhi. Nidhi means ocean. It means treasure, gem, jewel. So it's a great treasure. It's the greatest treasure in the storehouse of Rasa Tattva, Madhurya Ras. Radha Ras Sudha Nidhi. Sudha means nectar, amrit, ambrosia. And it certainly is ambrosial for the ears, for the heart, for the mind, for the soul. And it's ambrosia for us to hear and remember and speak about. It's ambrosia for the Lord to hear someone speaking about it. It's ambrosia and nectar, and very pleasing for Radha and Krishna also. So this is the 48th verse, and this is a new verse. And this is about drowning. Drowning means you go in the ocean, or in a swimming pool or whatever, and you somehow lose control of yourself, and you can't keep floating, and you go under the water, and it's called drowning. You die. You bloop. You bloop. Like if you take a rock and throw it into some water, like a lake or this little pool, when that rock hits the lake, you know what sound it makes? Bloop. It goes bloop. Even makes that sound. You can try it. You can throw a rock and it goes bloop, bloop. So this became a very special word in our spiritual institution of ISKCON. Although it's not understood outside, we have our own, let's say, inside language. Parokshavad, ISKCON Parokshavad. Indirect language, like all the young people have this special language on the mobile language, which anybody over 40 or 50 doesn't know what's going on, what it means even, or but young people know. So the same way, if someone comes, let's say, "Oh, he blooped," somebody will say, "What does that mean? He blooped." He fell in the water. Well, that's a fact. He goes underwater. He goes in the Maya ocean somewhere, she or whatever. Anyway, so this is ocean, and it's nectar. It's an ocean of nectar, and the title of this verse is drowning. So we're going to fall into that ocean. We're going to lose control. Like if you go into the ocean, you fall over from a boat, or you go down the steps of Radhakund. It happens about once a month. 1 or 2 people die in Radhakund. You may not know, but they at least, and that's known. Maybe somebody comes at night and just slips off and no one even knows. Turtles eat them up. So then, it's a fact. So they walk down and they don't see the green moss on the last step. It's nighttime. They're tired. They've been walking so long for 15 kilometers, almost back to Manasi Ganga to finish. They slip, and then, I don't know how to swim. And the water's 25 feet deep, and they get just excited, and they lose control, and they drown. They die. They're finished. So this title of this verse is Drowning. Sounds rather negative. But material drowning is negative, but spiritual drowning is very positive. Ever hear this term? We should drown in the nectar of Nam Ras. Drown in the nectar of Harinam Sankirtan. So everyone, we have that experience. Every member of ISKCON is drowning all the time, but they're still alive. Whenever there is great Harinam Sankirtan performed, everyone enters there deeply with mind and heart. They go so deep, they lose control. They start feeling crazy and dancing crazy, and they drown in the nectar of the kirtan and the Harinam Sankirtan. But they come up when the kirtan's over. They surface from being submerged in the joy of dancing and abandon, and totally forgetting everything about your gender and your age and your position and prestige and worries and problems and miseries. You forget all about it when you merge and submerge in Kirtan Magana, Sankirtan, Anand Magana. You submerge in the ecstasy, Anandam Buddhivardhanam. Lord Chaitanya is telling in the Shikshastakam, very first verse, that this Harinam, we say all glories to. He's basically saying Param Vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtanam. Lord Chaitanya is saying all glories to drowning in Harinam Sankirtan. Because before that he says Anandam Buddhi Vardhanam. He says Ananda Ambudhi Vardhanam. He says it's an ocean. Harinam Sankirtan is an Ambudhi, Creep Ambudhi, all Creep Ambudhi. Vaishnava is a Creep Ambudhi. He's an ocean of mercy, compassion. So Harinam is an ocean of bliss. And when you're in bliss, you're beside yourself. You're just like, I don't know where I am, I'm in bliss. So that means you've lost control and lost your contact with your ordinary self. Your ordinary self is controlled by hankering and lamenting. So many, lamenting about this and that, and hankering for so many things we want or think we want and need. So we all have some experience of drowning. So here we're going to drown, in this verse we're going to drown in a lake of ras. What ras? The Radha ras. And what kind of ras is it? It is nectar, amrit ras, rasamrit. Bhakti rasamrit sindhu, ocean. So that's the title of this verse. Drowning in a lake of ras. So let's hear. Let's drown. Verse 48. Kunjantare kimapi jata rasotsavaya shutva tadalapita sinjita mishritani Shri Radhike tavabraha paricharikaham dwarastita rasaradhe patita kadasyam. Translation. Translation. Having heard the mixed sounds of soft speech and tinkling ornaments coming from within the bower house, arising from the robust rasa festival, O Shri Radhike, Kada, becoming your confidential maidservant, I will stand just outside your door, the door to your kunja, and I will thus plunge headlong. Plunge means to dive, like plunge. You plunge into the water, boom, to dive in. I will dive headlong. This is your head, so head first. I will just go boom. I will plunge headlong into that and sink deeply into the lake of ecstatic ras. He's saying, when will that happen? Here I'm meditating on a seva in my Siddharup Avesh, Siddharup, that I'm standing there I'm guarding the door of your kunja, and you're enjoying your association inside the bower house, forest bower of Shamsundar. So another translation is, Radharani's dancing. O Shri Radhike, when will I, your confidential maidservant, fall in a pool of ras as I stand at the gate of the kunja, hearing the sweetly tinkling sound of your ornaments, mixed with the sweet sound of your conversation with Krishna at the beginning of your rasa festival, or alapita. That's alapita. This word alapita is there in the verse. It means talking. Shutva tad alapita. Sinjita mishritani. Mishritani means mixed. Sanjita means the sound of your tinkling ornaments. So your speech is mixed. So this is, of course, these are the prem samputa. These are the, what's it called? This is that, not prem samputa, but there's a term for this, love talks in the kunja. Surata. There's one poem written by Vishnu, I believe it's Vishnu Chakravartipad. It's called Surata Katamritam. Surata Katamritam. Surata. Surata means erotic union or erotic dalliance or pastimes with the lover and beloved. And Katamrita means those nectar-sweet love talks when the lovers first meet. So Radha and Krishna, of course, are the original divine, transcendental, spiritual lover and beloved, Priyaji and Priyatam, from which all other types of relationships and feelings and loving relationships all begin there, and they should all end there and attain there. Well, this is the transcendental side of love. So there's some points in this verse, and the three basic points that we see here in this verse is what's being illuminated here and revealed here is what great fortune and privilege that Radharani's Manjaris have. The privileged position of Radharani's maid servants. Like someone may think, when Prabhupada was here, some devotees got to be his servants and travel with him. When Prabhupada had 5,000 disciples, and only a couple of them throughout the year, those 10 years he was with us, some traveled for 2 years or 1.5 years. But what about the other 4,999? They didn't get a chance. They weren't the lucky ones. They weren't the fortunate ones. So that's a very privileged, that fortune to be Prabhupada's personal servant and assistant and travel with the pure devotee around the world for his pracharak seva. So the Manjaris themselves are in a most wonderful position. So that point we'll discuss about the privileged position of Srimati Radharani's maidservants. And the verse also discusses about a very interesting point, how the Manjaris, or all the Sakhis for that matter, but the Manjaris serve Radharani and Krishna with all their senses, with their eyes, their hands, their Gyanindriya and Karmindriya. Of course, there's no Karm there, and Gyan, there's no Karm and Gyan. Anyavilashita shunyam gyana karmadya navritam anokayena krishnanu shilanam bhaktiruttamam. So in that plane there's no Gyan, there's only Prem, and there's no Karma, there's only Leela. There's no Gyan, there's no knowledge, there's Prema, and there's no Karma, which means work, hard work to remove ignorance and illusion. And there's just Leela, enjoying. Someone the other day, in one class we heard, he said, what is the meaning of Leela? Leela means, Krishna is called Leela. So we play or we engage in sports, but there's a purpose. Like we play sports because it's to express our mood of competition. We say, let's go play tennis. So you ask your friend, your girlfriend, boyfriend, or whatever, let's go play tennis together. So you're playing, but part of that play is the ego and ambition to defeat my friend. Because all the sport, okay, and even sometimes that's established in the beginning. Okay, let's see. We'll play for a half an hour, and we'll see who can score the most baskets in basketball. And whoever scores the most has to buy the other one some Mahaprasad, or whatever. Of course, devotees aren't supposed to play basketball, but they do. At any rate, so they challenge. So there's some purpose. There's some purpose to win a prize or to defeat your friend and bolster your own ego or self-gratification, etc. But Leela, Krishna's Leela, everything they're doing, Holy Leela, Rasa Leela, there's no purpose. It's only for the fun. It's just for the fun of it. Like if you ask somebody, why are you playing tennis? Well, it's good exercise. There's so many, it's a purpose. Oh, I need to exercise, so I'm playing tennis every day after school with my friend. And I'm practicing my skills. I want to, win a championship. And I like the taste of winning, that kind of the ego rush that one gets by defeating someone. Conquering, defeating. This is all part of Rajagun and Tamagun. So there's some purpose, because this is a causal plane. We're living in this side of the Karna Samudra, so everything here has a cause and effect. Whatever we do has a cause, and it has some effect or result. Cause and result. But Krishna lives beyond the Karna Samudra. He lives in Paravyom, the topmost part of Paravyom in Vaikuntha. And everything he's doing, he said, Krishna, why are you walking through the forest playing your flute? Just, for the fun of it. I'm just playing. And why? So it's just, that's such a beautiful, and this is like if you see children, Even they get into competition too. It starts at the earliest age because children have egos also. And they have samskaras for competition and defeat and the whole idea of egoism and pratishta is there even in the smallest children. They say, okay, let's have a game. Oh, I beat. No, you won. No, I won. And they fight. They throw all the soldiers all over the place. And no, I won. And they beat each other up and the mother comes. So there's so much competition. But and Krishna's playing, that's the definition of Leela. There was some discussion about what does it mean, this word Leela. It has other meanings also, which we discussed in previous classes. But we can mention also. Well, this is very nice. Leela means there's no purpose, and you're not trying to get a result. You're not trying to create to win. It's just fun. So what are you doing? We're dancing in the Ras. Why? For fun. We're just dancing. It's fun. Do you like? Yeah, we like to have fun. We're having fun. There's no other purpose. It's just for fun, pure fun. So how many people... Have you ever done anything in your life, or can you even remember when you've done something just for the fun of it? Everything we do is calculated. Profit loss. Oh, if I just put on these crazy clothes and walk down the street, and all these I feel like wearing all dirty old clothes. And if you wear dirty old clothes, and you're some lady, then everyone says, "Oh, you stinky! You look dirty. What happened to you?" And this, that. You get so much criticism. So you're afraid of that. So you won't do that rather odd, practice. Rather tamagun practice of wearing some dirty clothes. But that's a very bad example. But the idea is it's just for the fun of it. So this is the Manjaris are serving with all their senses, not just their hands and their eyes and their what we would call the working senses and the knowledge-acquiring senses. They're serving with their ears. They're just listening to Radha and Krishna speak. That's seva, isn't it? What's the first limb of bhakti? What's it called? Shravanam. You ever studied? That's nice. You can study. You're tired. So the first limb of bhakti is Shravanam, to hear. So we're also hearing. And they're also hearing. We're hearing the Bhagavad Gita. And the Manjari standing outside the Kunja Dwara, the door of the Kunja, they're hearing Radha and Krishna's Surata Katamritam. Like you might say, eavesdropping. But that's their privilege. They're Manjaris. Sakis can't stand there and listen. What's Radharani whispering to Krishna right now? And what's Krishna whispering to Radharani? Oh, whatcha? So sweet. So confidential. They can't hear that. They don't have that privilege to be that close at that time. They go here and there, whatever they do. Or they go to their own kunjas and wait for Radharani to send Krishna. So one point is the privileged position, and then how they serve with all their senses. So let's begin with this first point of the verse, is the privileged position. So the verse has this word. It says, Kunjantare kimapi jata rasotsavaya shrutva tad alapita sinjita mishritani shiradike tavavraha paricharikaham. So this is the phrase that indicates the very, very special, privileged, most fortunate position of Radharani's maidservants, her handmaidens, kinkaris, her manjaris. Says paricharika, aham. Aham means I. Tungavidya in her mood of a manjari, or manjari bhav, or I means you, or I, or anyone aspiring for being Radharani's paricharika. Parichari means to move in varieties of ways. Anuchari means to move behind. So when Radharani is moving in a straight line or crooked line, whatever, when she's running down the footpath for samsara abhisaranti, some abhisaranti, when she's going completely absorbed in the mood of an abhisarika heroine, she's running down the footpath to meet Krishna. Basically somewhat in a straight line, but there's curves here and there. It's not a freeway, it's a forest gully, Prem Gully, Man Gully, goes left, right here. And the manjari is running behind her, so she's moving, but anuchari, behind her, in one direction, in one way, carrying her tray of scents and garlands and tambul and with fresh camphor and clothes. So now it says paricharika. This Manjari is an all-arounder. She's a 360-degree servant. She can serve in all directions, and she's ever watchful and ever waiting and eager and anticipating at every second when Radharani will glance from the corner of her right eye, or glance from the corner of her left eye, or move her head in such a way, or move her finger or her toe, or any which way give a sanket, or a signal that she wants a particular service. Then the Manjaris will understand that signal and indication, and they will do the needful service at the proper moment in such a wonderful way. So this is see here, Sripad is saying, Shiradike tava raha paricharikaham, aham, I want to be your paricharika. Your paricharika. I want to serve you in every possible way, Radharani. I want to serve you, fan you and bathe you and dress you and sing to you and cook with you and assist you and everywhere in every situation, every lila, at every time throughout the day. Then it says raha. So this is a particular type of paricharika. I want to serve you in varieties of ways in secret. I want to be a secret. I want to be a raha. Raha means, as you know, rahasya. It means rahasya seva. I want to be one of those secret sakhis, like we have in somewhere in some country they call the Secret Service, the SS. I think maybe that was World War II or so. Someone that's like CBI and FBI and KGB and all these initials everywhere. CIA and CID. In India they had CID, and America CIA and KGB, and in the old days in the war, Second World War, they had the SS. So I want to be your secret, your SM, your secret maid, maybe it's SMS, secret maid servant. S for secret, M for maid, and S for servant. So you say one Manjari has to, duty, D-U-T-I, duty means messenger. And the gopi, there's a whole group of sakhis, or that's one of the 17 sevas of all the sakhis. It can also be the Ashta Sakhis, Lalita, Vishaka. They also do that service. But especially the Nitya Sakhis, the Manjaris, they engage as duties. Duties means courier male, courier male women, because they're not male men. In America they have male men, and maybe they're women too, but they're called male men. But at any rate, they carry messages, and they're called duti, D-U-T-I. Like you've heard of Vishnu Duta, or Duta means carry. And you've heard of Jaladuta. If you read Prabhupada's biography, we wouldn't be here unless if that messenger didn't cross the Atlantic Ocean and Cape Horn and wherever he went to finally get to America. Jala means water, and Duta means messenger, a messenger going across the water. So Prabhupada came to America and to the world to give the message of Prem, Varanga Prem Seva, and the Prem Seva, Radha Krishna Yugal and Vrindavan. And of course, you may have heard of, but you don't want to see, another group called Yamadutas. The Yamadutas, hopefully no one will see, generally devotees don't, in dreams possibly, but they are called Yamadutas because they're the messengers of Yama, or death, and hell, and punishment. Or just, they carry you to Yama for darshan. There's 4 gates, there's I think it's 2 or 4 pathways leading to Pitriloka, Yamapuri. I think maybe 2, I forget. One's for the devotees and one's for the non-devotees. So everyone kind of goes there and then some people are sent to hell, and the devotees go there for darshan of the great devotee Yamaraj. And then Yamaraj says, what's the story with this one? Oh, he's a great devotee, he's a devotee, this, that. Okay, he just, he takes birth in this devotee family, because he doesn't go to hell. This is in Garuda Puran. You can read this in Garuda Puran. So it's just, it's like you may pass through Delhi, but your destination is London. So you did go through the London airport, the Delhi airport, but didn't have much to do there. So the general trajectory of most jivas, if you're a premi, if you see in first canto, chapter 6, I don't know, first canto, chapter 6, around verse 28 or 29 or so, Narada Muni was doing Vaidhi sadhana bhakti, then he attained perfection. Vishnu came at the moment of death, Prayujamane, and he brought from the spiritual world his Siddhadeha, and he gave him his Siddhadeha at the time of death. So then he went straight to Vishnuloka. I don't know if he went, doesn't appear that he followed that Garuda Puran system, because he was pure devotee. So for pure devotees, they enter Boma Vrindavan according to Vishnu Chakravarti Pad, or they may go directly to the spiritual world. At any rate, they certainly don't even see Yamaraj. But the ordinary class of jivas, he's like the processor, the processor for everyone. So there's some details in the Garuda Puran. Doesn't mean you go to hell. So you go to Delhi doesn't mean you've gone to hell, or you may you may think like that. But because Yamaraj is a demigod and he worships Vishnu, so he'll just go there. He'll just take darshan and he'll ask Chitragupta and the Shravanis and Shravanas. Chitragupta has 40 secretaries, 20 female and 20 male. The Shravanas are the male ones, and the Shravanis are the female, recording everything we do on behalf of the chief minister there, Chandragupta, the chief secretary. Then they say, "Oh, who is this? This is Krishnadas. What did he do? Oh, he did Nam Sankirtana's whole." Radhe. Radharasanidhi ki jai, jai jai Shri Radhe. Radha Govinda Dev ki jai, Shamakunda ki jai, Radha Kunda ki jai, Purushottamadikat Mas Brata ki jai, Prabhupada Saraswati ki jai, jai jai Shri Radhe Sham.